welcome back to Spudcast. We're playing Dr. Darley and the Case of the Deboned Children. Yeah, it's a visual novel. That's what it says at the bottom.
Controls. Press space or enter or click the screen to advance. Press page up for the lower left corner to return to previous text. Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Escape or just click it. That's it. Hope you enjoy this.
Okay, move the mouse. Because that's kind of in the way.
Play Press presents a visual novel by Lars Martinson.
What? Oh. Dr. Darley and the Case of the Deboned Children. Hello there. Please come in. If you'll indulge me, I'll have a story I'd like to share with you. I'm hitting the damn closet. Now I know. With all the electronic gizmos and kids that have today, listening to an old man prattle, yeah, on probably isn't your idea of a good time. And I'll admit, Yeah, it's kind of changed up in here because,
No, just try reading.
and I'll admit, based on appearance alone, there's nothing particularly remarkable about me. But there was a time when I was young, and at least, delicious, in close proximity.
Proximity.
To greatness. Proximity. Minds. For decades, I probably served the assistant of Dr. Anthony Darley. The doctor was recognized as one of the foremost authorities in the medical world. He was frequently summoned to distant lands to serve as a consultant on particularly troublesome cases. The doctor and I went on many adventures over the course of these excursions, yeah. One of which I'd like to share with you today. A case with ramifications so far-reaching that it continues to affect children across the globe even today. But I suppose I need stuff here in that. But I suppose I'm getting ahead of myself. Best to start at the beginning. It all started when Doctor and I were summoned to a small mountain mining town called Helso. Due to the remote location, getting there was truly arduous.
Arduous?
I
don't know what the word is.
Requiring us to change trains 3 times and be taken by carriage for the final leg of the journey. Typically, we would be taken straight to the hotel to rest, and then begin the consolation of following today. But the coachman insisted that we meet our employer, the mayor of the town, by the name of Mr. Condofor, that very day. He lived on the outside of town to the northeast. So almost against our will, we were taken straight to Mr. Cumberbunch's manor. After such an exhausting day of travel, the doctor was most displeased to be disposed in an empty draw room with our host nowhere to be seen.
It was deposited.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. How long has it been now, Mr. Homan?
5 minutes later than the late time you asked, Doctor.
So 15 minutes total. I do say this truly beats all.
Doctor, please. Our employer will hear you.
I would be only so happy if he did, as that would mean he would be here in this room with us. Not to be giving even a moment's rest after such a long journey. What, Poppycock? Surely he's concerned for his son. He's probably anxious for you to... Oh.
I think that's me.
To
work straight away.
Does it me now?
Yes. It says it right there. Miss Dr. Darley. I'm Mr. Harmon.
You're the one with the hat. And the glasses.
Now go.
And the bigger mustache. Well, if that's the case, he should be here to greet us, not keeping us waiting.
And same sized ears. Okay, I'll admit that's a bit irritating.
Patients are to wait, not doctors. That's why patients are called that, because you need to have patience to be one.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's correct, Doctor.
I think you could just use the papyrus voice.
Oh.
No, that's me. In any event, this is a reversal I can do without. I'm of half a mind to call for the carriage to head straight back home. That would teach a lesson to this Cumberbatch and his stupid sick kid. Huh.
The doctor was unusually very compassionate and clear-headed, but when he was
agitated,
well, he wasn't at his best.
Yeah, he started cursing, throwing stuff,
hitting closets, hitting a door,
hitting children.
In an attempt to distract the great man, I glanced around the ornate room to find something to talk about. Ooh, Doctor, won't you look at that? I saw a derogatory type. I think that's derogatory. Derogatory types for
bears to photographs, and we're still quite a rare sight at this time. Huh.
You son of a bitch. And look, the subject of an old acquaintance of ours.
Whoa, will you look at that? Santa!
The doctor examined the derogatory type. And despite
it depicted
a young boy, presumably Mr. Cumberbatch's son, sitting on the lap of Saint Nicholas.
We call him Santa.
The doctor and I met old Saint Nick at his polar workshop many years before.
He's going senile, put him down.
In fact, we met him before he became famous, and we played a key role at his... Well, I hit the closet again. That's also quite a gripping tale, but I suppose I shouldn't let myself get too far off track.
Oh, me. This brings me back. What a guy. Though a saint, he is not. What a drinker he is. Do you remember how mean he could get after a few eggnogs?
Probably the best not to gossip about him, Doctor.
True. You never know who might be listening. Old Saint Nick is not someone you want to antagonize, that's for sure. But for all his faults, the old codger could sure construct quality tat. Huh.
There's a train in this room.
This cane his workers made for me has really stood the test of time. I have to concede. The hell?
Butt plug from the 1930s. The doc admired the case Santa gave him as a gift.
This thing has saved us from a few tight spots.
Oh my.
Do you remember that time in the Andes when those drug smugglers ambushed us then?
I don't want to remember that shit. The doctor was all set on recount one of many adventures, but he was short. Oh, short. But he was short. Cut short when our employer finally strode into the room. Oh, I slide.
You have any voices for him?
You must be Dr. Darley. I've been anxiously awaiting for your arrival. Mr. Common hoity-toity demeanor and snapped the doctor back to his foul mood.
Yeah, they kind of snapped to like the left side, so. Anxiously waiting in another part of the house, I take it.
Doctor. Mr. Common took umbrage, yeah, at the doctor's snarky comment. Well, urgent business came up just before you arrived. My duties as the mayor of this town, coupled with overseeing its mining operation, place frequent demands on my time. But I suppose there's no need to prattle on about that. I'm sure I have even less time for you than you have for I.
Well,
yes.
The doctor grit his... No, wait. But...
What?
Yeah, Dr. Darley. The doctor grit his teeth as this self-important comment, but held his tongue. I think that was supposed to be you, but...
Yeah, I think it was. So I suppose we should get to it, Mr. Truffalt.
Oh, Mister?
It made materialize out of nowhere behind Mr. Cumberbunch. Yes, sir! Mr. Cumberbunch, sir! Shit. Please bring Linus for the examination. The maid shuttled away. Like a rocket. Might I take her a while to get back? She just started a week ago, and I swear sometimes she gets lost in this place. She's a beauty, but she's as dumb as rocks. Mr. Common Fraser Wicket chuckled as his crude comment while the doctor and I patiently waited. And he disappeared from Earth.
He just faded away. We never saw him again.
And that day we became the house too. After a few minutes, Miss Truffald returned with a thin, pale boy who was gingerly holding his left arm. And I disappeared too. The doctor momentarily forgot his irritation and turned his attention to the boy. Oh, yeah.
Come here, boy. Let's take a look at that arm of yours.
Yes, sir. Linus meekly approached the doctor. The doctor carefully rolled up the boy's sleeves and pants.
Good lord.
It's like a snake. The usual composed doctor couldn't hide his surprise once he took off his pants too. The doctor had received a curt telegram stating that the boy had an issue with his arm, but it didn't offer any additional details.
He's super weak.
The doctor had expected an infectious
infection
or a severely broken bone. Severely. Granted, the problem was bone related, but a break it was not. Instead, the bones in the boy's left forearm and his hand seemed to be missing altogether.
Good gracious, it's like a rubber hose. When on earth did this happen to you?
4 days ago, sir. When I woke up, it was like this.
So the night prior, your arm was completely fine?
That's right, sir.
Had you done anything out of the ordinary the night that it occurred?
Masturbation. The voice seemed rattled by the suggestions. Like, what do you mean?
Well, you did anything unusual? Played somewhere you usually don't?
Linus nervously glanced over his father. Oh, God. No, nothing like that. Nothing out of the ordinary. I just woke up and, I had this bad arm. Linus' demeanor seemed suspicious, but the doctor decided not to press the point. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Wordy, how long will this take to cure, and what will it cost?
I don't know. I've never seen a boy without an arm, like without bones in his arm.
Have you tried putting money in there? Mr. Cumberbunch spoke as though he was conducting a business transaction.
We're gonna need to cut it off. Cure? What do you mean, regrow a bone?
The doctor looked at the floppy arm and thoughtfully looked spread across his face.
I've never even seen anything like this before. It's like something from out of a fairy story. Huh.
Mr. Cumberbunch was very unhappy to hear this. Never seen any. You must be joking.
Who the hell sees a freaking kid's arm without bones in it?
I've seen many kids with boneless arms. What kind of doctor are you anyway? You're not even worth your salt. At this comment, I couldn't help myself.
He came in! He's a ghost!
If the doctor hasn't come... I forgot his voice already.
Papyrus. Sort of.
I think it's like that. If the doctor hasn't come across the injury before, it must be an exceedingly rare illness. Of that I can assure you. Exceedingly rare. My foot. Plenty of children of this... Getting tongue-tied. Plenty of children who came by my house. Plenty of children who have come down with this.
I beg to differ. In my years of practicing medicine, Wait a minute. Am I understanding you correctly? Have other children in town fallen victim to this ailment as well?
Mr. Cumberbunch indefinitely waved his hand.
Indifferently?
Yes. Well, a few other children, as I understand it.
What? Starting when?
How should I know? That's their parents' business, not mine. I changed his voice. Nor is it yours. Come to think of it, I hired you to take care of my child, not theirs. The maid, Miss Truffles, looked like she wanted to say something, but thought better of it.
She faded away.
She knows something.
Well, in any event, any discussion of treatment or therapy is premature until I can gather more information.
It's puberty. Mr. Cumberbunch was enough. Fine, then. Get on with it. Then the doctor remained surprisingly diplomatic, considering the inconsiderate manner in which he was being treated.
Yeah, there's like no sound or anything in it. Very well. We'll start with a blood draw and preliminary examination of the young man. After an analysis of the blood, we should know more.
Poor young Linus winced at the mention of blood draw, but his father nodded approvingly.
He's like, shove the needle in there. I'd also like to have my assistant, Mr. Hormain, sit down with you and go over your family's medical history, and perhaps conduct a survey of of the boy's environment.
At this, Mr. Cumberbatch scolded.
Scowled.
Do I look like I have time for that sort of nonsense? Do you have any idea how much work I have to do?
No.
Keeping the blasted town afloat requires Herculean effort. The carefully management of my time is a delicate balance that you clearly don't understand anything about.
I've had like a couple of sentences to read.
I'm looking to resolve the matter as quickly as possible. I've already devoted more time to it than I can spare. And I certainly don't have time to discuss my mother's allergies or whatever nonsense your lackey should ask me about.
It was wood, but yeah.
Mr. Cumberbatch pointed at a fat finger at the doctor. You just do whatever it takes to return my boy to normal state. I don't need to know anything about the details. Rather than to argue with the unreasonable man, the doctor merely nodded. Mr. Cumberbatch turned to the maid, who jumped in a bit in surprise. Covered his son. Get them whatever they need. I have important matters to attend to. With that, Mr. Cumberford left in a huff.
He disappeared.
There was a moment of silence in the room, and then the doctor again returned his attention to the boy.
Linus, I'm going to need to draw blood in order to conduct some tests. Give me your arm, please.
The boy flopped his over to the doctor. Flopped it over to the doctor, who began the blood draw. He then conducted a close examination of the rubbery
appendage.
Appendage, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Not again. There was no sign of an external injury. It was as though the bone has just dissolved.
Just like everyone else who leaves this room. Well, that should do it for now. I looked at it for another half hour.
Well,
Linus, why don't you return to your room?
Well, they all used film dissolve on their editing. Editor's joke.
Bad or.
By myself? Ah! Miss Double usually takes me.
No need for that. There's nothing wrong with your legs.
And with that, the doctor sent the boy off.
He faded away. No, Miss Truffles. Was it? Could you have the carriage brought around? We will check into our hotel now.
Oh, are you leaving already?
The blood sample needs time to cure before it can be tested, and we need to set up our remote lab to do that. And besides, it's been an exhausting day, and I need a bit of rest and a bite to eat.
I be happy to prepare anything for you, Doctor. You needn't leave.
You've had 3 different voices for each person. That's very kind of you. But I think an opportunity to collect my thoughts in my hotel room is what I need now. It's been a long day.
I'm not sure Mr. Commodore will approve.
Well, as you may recall, Mr. Cumberbatch himself said he didn't need to know any of the details.
Miss Truffles flinched.
Flinched.
Oh, flinched. Oh, I thought it was the instead of ill. Flinched as the doctor said, "This." So be changed to be a gentler tone.
The boy is in excellent hands. Yeah, the boy is in excellent hands. Yeah, my bones are still in there. And for now, allowing me to clear my head and process and analyze his test results is the best thing we can do to ensure a positive outcome.
Very well, Doctor. I'll call your carriage at once.
Oh, just one more thing. Mr. Commodore mentioned other children in town are showing similar symptoms as Linus. Is that true?
She seemed
Reluctant.
reluctant to address the subject, but eventually nodded in the affirmative.
How prevalent is it, if I may ask?
Oh, well. The maid wrung her hands, looking extremely troubled.
She's the one who's been taking the bones.
Well, actually, all of the children have it.
All of them? As in each and every one of them?
Well, yes.
Good grief, it's an epidemic. Are the other children as bad off as Linus?
The maid looked downwards. Her eyes were glassy.
Worse then. I really should examine some of these advanced cases myself. Do you know of anyone whose child has the infection?
Miss Truffles didn't like the course of the conversation was taking.
Yeah, the course of conversation.
Yeah. Oh no, Doctor. I'm sure Miss Commodore would be displeased if you wasted time on other children. You really should just treat Master Linus. The doctor gave her a sympathetic smile and spoke in a gentle voice.
My dear, any chance I might have of curing this ailment is contingent? Yeah, on gathering as much information as possible, especially since it seems to be so widespread. And if I'm able to discover the root cause, it could prove to be beneficial, not only for Linus, but to the other town children as well.
The maid's ears perked up at this. You mean to say you'll be able to help the other children too?
Well, it is a possibility at least.
The maid still seemed reluctant to speak, but she finally found her voice. Murwarren's nursery.
Excuse me?
It's the facility that houses most of the children with the affliction. Since most of the parents are off working in the mines, they can't take care of their children during the day. It's a short walk from your hotel. If you inquire at the front desk, they should be able to provide you with the directions.
Thank you, my dear.
But you mustn't do... kind of sideways. I tilted my head. But you mustn't let any more...
Anyone?
Okay, I need to stare at this. But you mustn't let anyone know that I told you Miss Comerford would be very displeased if he thought you weren't giving his son your complete and undivided attention. I understand.
That's me. I understand. I won't tell a soul. Over, I only get like 5 sentences.
I understand. What? Without another word, the maid hurried off in the call of the carriage, leaving the doctor and me alone.
Where the hell have you been hiding? You can turn invisible.
Quite a curious case. Eh, Doctor? Hey, Doc. I wonder what all the hubbub is about. The doctor moved in a close response, speaking in a low voice.
There was real fear in that girl's eyes, and the boy's, for that matter. There's a chance our conversation could be overheard. The walls have ears and all that. We should save a more frank conversation for back when we're safely at the hotel.
Oh, of course, Doctor. And so, we waited in a wake of silence.
Awkward silence.
Awkward
Yeah,
silence.
they just stared at each other for another like half hour.
After a few minutes, Mr. Comerford's coachman, a burly, long-head named Samson, strolled into the room.
I don't know what kind of voice. You! Nope. Yeah, I can't do any voices. You called for a carriage.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Let's go.
Samson seemed confused.
He has an overbite or underbite.
Dear Mister, come forward, give permission for ye.
No, he did not.
Trying to do like the overbite thing.
But since I am neither a child nor a prisoner, I do not need it. Now, if you don't mind, let's get a move on.
But I'm a child. Of course, Doctor. I'll just do that.
He's back! He's older and fatter.
On that, in auspicious, whatever note, conspicuous note,
I think
we made our departure. Needless to say, I was anxious to hear what conclusions the doctor had drawn, but I decided to wait until he offered them. He was completely silent on the entire carriage ride over. Perhaps he was afraid the coachman would report back to Mr. Comerford, who already shown himself to the unrespective to be wayward. He was trying to make a drink right now. After we arrived to the hotel, the carriage departed, and the doctor paid the bellboy to bring our things to our room.
it was long.
We quickly set up our mobile laboratory and began the blood analysis.
Okay, as the doctor began carrying the boy's blood, the thoughtful look came over his face.
Okay.
Mr. Hobain, what time is it now?
It's 5:15. Should I inquire about dinner?
Not yet. How far was the nursery from here? The one Miss Truffles.
Just a short walk, I believe she said. I believe.
It will still be a while before the blood cures and we can extract results. Perhaps we should head over there now.
What? No. But I should... my eye. But I thought you wanted the rest after your hour-long day's travels.
Okay, we're doing this in another episode. This is long.
I do.
Bye.
You just proposed to him right now.
They're married. No.